Say hi, Bean Bean. Say hello. You're not going to because you got your tummy in because it's nearly sleep time. Say hiya. Mwah. So we've just filmed our 3 to 6 months must-haves, and while I was doing it I figured we'd film quickly some teething essentials and tips, tricks and things that we didn't love. So I'm just going to knock that out quickly. So you might notice that he's still sat in his pyjamas waiting to go to sleep, fighting the sleep. We're just letting him wear himself out because he fights so hard for sleep at the minute. So if you're wondering why I'm keeping him awake with me, it's just letting him tire himself out as much as possible. So I'm going to kind of start with the order that we found them, used them, liked them or didn't like them in. So Rowan started teething. Rowan started teething at 2 months old. At 2 months old, there is nothing that you're supposed to give them anymore. There might be people who say that they gave their babies Bonjela or Ambisol at that age, which you used to be able to, but the guidelines have changed now. Bonjela's, I think, 6 months or 5 months or something like that. 6 months for the Bonjela. There's stuff that you can start using at 3 months, but everything said 3 months no, that even the toys. So we just kind of threw that out the window a little bit because he was so upset. At 3 months he could have Calpol. So we were giving him Calpol because that's from 2 months, which is, he was probably 2.5 months when he started teething. Nowadays we try not to give him Calpol unless it's really bad. We try to use everything else first. Calpol is what we consider the big guns. We try toys and we kind of go up to use the least medicated things that we can. Generally, if the tooth's about to come out in the 24 hours before it comes, he's really grisly and we do end up using Calpol. We've still never had to use Nurofen, but we do have it in the cupboard just in case. But as of yet, we've not had anything bad enough to pull out the biggest guns, I suppose. So the first thing that we ever used was this, and we use it so much that the labelling's worn off a little bit, but it's this Ashton and Parsons teething gel. They do teething granules. There are a few brands that do teething granules. I read the instructions and never bought some, if I'm being perfectly honest, but they sounded like an absolute faff, putting them on a spoon and trying to get them round the gut. I just saw this and thought this seemed like a much better idea. It's worked brilliantly. Even now, when he's older, when he's teething quite badly, it seems to work. It's got aloe vera in it. It's supposed to taste like banana, but it's quite reasonably natural for in comparison to some of the other teething stuff that's out there. I've tried it just to see what it was like, and it's kind of like a cold, soothing, kind of like how you would imagine aloe vera to be like, but there is other ingredients as well. It is very soothing. The other thing that we really like about it, it's got this little rubber like nozzle with like little rubber, I don't know if you can see. So it's got these little rubber bristles on it, which you can use to massage the gums with, which he really likes. Oh, it's got a bit coming out. Which he really likes anyway, as well as just obviously the, it's a bit coming out. Let's just rub that on. Waste not, want not, hey? He really likes the massaging as well as just the generic liquid, but some of the other teething gels don't have that, and you can use that from 3 months. From 3 months, so it's younger than most of the other gels out there. We do now use Bonjela as well, which, like I say, is 6 months. When we use the Bonjela, we still use the brush from that to apply it, and we generally have been using that first. But you can only use that so many times in a day. You can use this more times in a day for some reason. But that does numb it a little bit more. So they're the teething gels that we use, and then obviously Calpol, like I said, for big guns. We do really like these sachets because they're brilliant for putting in the handbag rather than taking a bottle of Calpol out with you. And that is all the medicated stuff that we use, so everything else is toys and food. So he loves cucumber sticks now that he's weaning. Obviously when he first started teething he wasn't, but he loves a good cucumber stick. At one point he'd just rub it around his gums and he didn't even eat it, but he really liked it because it was soothing. Now he does eat it a little bit, but he still really enjoys it. We also have this Nubby, it's called an Easy Squeeze something or other, and you can get them on Amazon, and it's just got like a teat with little holes in, and you unscrew the cap, which is really hard to get off because it's childproof. You have to squeeze it. So you just pop food in there and then give it to them, and they can squeeze it up and it comes out these little holes. So we put things like frozen mango in it. I've put yogurt in there and put it in the freezer. Obviously we let it thaw out enough first, but just so that it's really cold for them on their gums, and he really enjoys that because it takes him a long time to get it out of here, so it lasts a bit longer than just like feeding him would, and obviously it's cold and he can just gnaw on it, so he really enjoys that. Yes. So we have Gertie and Sophie, Gertie Goose and Sophie Giraffe. Gertie came first. Gertie was a gift. At first I hated Gertie, didn't I? But when you first started teething, that was the only things that you would use was your Gertie, but we noticed that Gertie was kind of quite big for his mouth at that age, so that's why I went out and bought Sophie. I was never interested in either of them, despite the fact that people rave about them, and also with having a dog, Squeaky is dangerous, but we just kind of keep him out of the room when he's got these. He knows not to take toys off him, so as long as the toys aren't out where the dog can get them, he won't take them off the baby, so that's quite good. But Sophie's got littler feet and little antlers and stuff, so he could get that around his mouth, so that was kind of the first teething toy that he could use properly. Gertie is now a favourite now that he's bigger, despite the fact that he's just thrown on the bed, but not for a teether. He just enjoys carrying Gertie around, like a weird and emotional attachment to Gertie, don't you? You cuddle her. He still really gets on with these now. Next thing that we loved were these Nubby Icy Bites keys. You can pop them in the fridge and they can have a good chew. These were quite easy when he first started picking things up because he can kind of chew everything on it. So he can chew the ring, he can chew the plastic bit here, has got rubber bits for him to gnaw on, this bit gets nice and cold in the fridge. It was all quite good for him to teeth on, which when he first started grabbing things and he couldn't quite grab the part that he wanted to, didn't matter because it was still fun for him. Because a lot of teething products we've noticed have got a teething part on them, but he knows which bit he wants to grab, but that's not the bit he was grabbing at a younger age. So at a younger age these are brilliant. Still good because they go in the fridge, but I do worry about his teeth popping them now that he has actually got teeth. We bought these, which I believe were also Nubby when he first started teething, because we were just desperate to find anything that he could teeth on. He's never been interested in these. They've got all kinds of different, this side's rubber, this side's like hard plastic, loads of different textures on. We thought they were quite small and almost like dummy-ish, and that he might get on with them when he was younger. Waste of time, never used them. This is a hippo that sings songs. I'm a huggable. He really likes the hippo as a toy. The teething element never worked for him. This is one that's another Nubby one. Our friends bought us this one. We really like it. This bit's a bit hard, this bit's slightly less hard, that's really rubbery. Depending on what teeth are coming through, he does tend to change up which bits he uses, and it's got these. He's gotten to an age where he loves tags, so he's a little bit obsessed with that at the minute. This is something that when we started teething, I saw loads of sponsored ads on my Facebook because of the stuff I've been searching. It was recommending this teething egg page to me all the time. So I read loads of things about it. I looked at it, I thought that looks terrible. I read how it was like breast and nipple shaped because that's what they're used to getting in their mouth. It's got a rattle in, I thought this would be a really good idea when we started taking his dummy off him, which as you can see isn't working out. So his dummy was supposed to be just for nap times, so rather than him wearing it on a dummy clip all the time, we decided that we would just have it loose so that he wasn't being able to grab it and put it back in, which was what was happening. So we took it off the clip so that we could control when he had it a little bit more. So I thought brilliant replacement would be a teether because he was teething a lot, and one of the things that he was doing with his dummy was just chewing the side of it or chewing the clip, but he was getting the dummy stuck in his mouth, so I thought this would be a brilliant replacement. We got this when he was maybe 6 months old, and it was too big for his mouth. He couldn't hold it and chew on it. It was sliding out all over the place. He was more interested in chewing the metal clip, which I don't like. I might change the clip on it and give it back to him, but I didn't like him chewing on the metal, and the sides of it are kind of not sharp, but they're quite harsh. As he got to about 7 months, we persevered with it. Maybe 7-8 months he did kind of get to a point where he could hold it in his mouth and chew on it, but it still isn't his favourite, and I really feel like this one was a waste of money. The main thing that attracted me to it was that it was on a string, and I could try and attach other stuff on a string with him, but I don't think it'd work. But it's also quite heavy for something that you would consider attaching to a child, so not overly pleased on this one. Wouldn't buy it again. Another Nubby thing, but these are the Nubby bibs that have got like a little teether on. These are brilliant because you can just flip it up and chew it, and it catches all the drool at the same time. The problem I have with this is that he drools a lot when he's teething, as most babies do, and there's not a lot of material there. And obviously it's designed to make him teeth. He's got a lot of bibs. He's only got a couple of these ones. They get wet quick. We have to change them quick. I do like them. I just wish that it was more like something you could just, like if they just sold that and I could just clip it onto a bib, I would definitely buy a load of those. On the line of bibs, I know that I've put these in my newborn must-haves. He had reflux, so he's quite sicky, but also when he started teething, these are brilliant because they're so drooly and wet. So they've got like, it's just like a thin towely cotton material, but then there is like a thick foam layer that goes around the neck, which is really good for preventing rashes here. When I was a baby, had a really bad teething rash around my neck from that. We managed to avoid it majoritively with him just by using those, because they just catch so much drool. And they last longer than the other bibs. He'll get saturated straight through a bib onto his clothes with any bib that doesn't have plastic in it, which I don't like using, really quickly, whereas that has a sponge and it just lasts a hell of a lot longer, doesn't it? But definitely, if I had a teething child or another baby and I could only pick one thing for teething, it would be this, because it saved our life, didn't it? Thank you very much for watching. Rowan's going to have to go to bed now. Say night-night. Night-night. Night-night.